Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back after a week's break, and since festival season in India has already started and Diwali is just around the corner, I thought why not do a video that will help you guys add a little bit more color to the festival of lights. That's why in today's video we will learn to make handmade Diwali greeting cards for your friends, work colleagues or family. You can give these cards to them as is or add them to the presents that you've already planned for them to make these presents a little bit more personalized and unique. I'm Neha from Artepreneur. I share tips and tricks about easy to create art. And now let's begin with the card making. So I have a total of 4 greeting cards that I want to share with you guys. But in today's video we'll just be looking at these 2 because I don't want the video to be very long, but I want it to be as detailed as possible. So basically the first thing you gotta do is have your base card ready. My card is 14 by 14 centimeters in size. So basically what I did was I took a piece of paper and I decided to measure it 14 centimeters in height and 28 centimeters in width, and then I cut it out and folded it at the center. So the first card that we are making has 2 main components, the circular galaxy background and the Diya or the lamp that we have on top of it. So the galaxy that we already have is blue and purple. I have also prepared 2 more, one in yellow and green and the other one in blue and red. I am now gonna go ahead and show you the process of creating these circular galaxies. So the circle that I've cut out has a radius of 4.5 centimeters. And I'm using watercolor paper that weighs 300 GSM. This is because in order to create this galaxy effect, I'm gonna have to apply water repeatedly to the paper, and thinner paper would usually lose shape when a lot of water is applied to it, which is why I would recommend using watercolor paper or any drawing sheet that is at least 300 GSM in weight. So now our first step would be to apply a layer of water onto the entire circle. So once we are done applying the layer of water, we'll start by applying the lightest color. In watercolors, we tend to move from light to dark because as opposed to all the other kinds of paints where a lighter shade of any color is obtained by adding white paint, in watercolors, the white comes from the paper itself, which is why if we start with the darker color first, our lighter colors aren't going to look as bright. So we'll keep applying colors to our circle one by one until we have all the colors that we want in place. So in one of my previous videos, I have shared a step-by-step process of creating a galaxy mandala. In that video, I create a rainbow galaxy. So basically it's a watercolor galaxy that looks like a rainbow exploded at its center. It is extremely colorful and beautiful. So if that's something you'd be interested in learning, then I'll link it here on the screen and in the description box below. As you can see, I'm applying color using small dab-like motion, and I'm not shying away from using as much water as is necessary for the color to spread around more naturally. This is just my first layer, which is why I've not bothered to add too many different colors here yet. I'll wait for this layer to dry up. And the second layer is when I'll focus on adding all the different colors that I want to bring out in the end. So now that the first layer has dried up, I'll start by adding a layer of water again before I add any color. And just like the first time around, I'll start by adding color, but this time I'll use all the different colors that I want my end result to have. And while the paint is still wet, you can even add some salt to it. Yes, salt. So basically when you drop salt grains on the wet surface of the paper, the salt grains absorb water and color and the area dries up faster as compared to surrounding areas, leaving behind this pattern that you see, which by the way looks very cool. So now that our circular galaxies are ready, we'll move on to the next component of this card, that is the Diya. So basically to create a Diya, you require a drawing sheet. It does not have to be this big. I am folding it into half because I want to make 2 diyas at once. I am now gonna draw 3 lines on this drawing sheet, one at the center of the sheet and the other 2 on either side at an equal distance from it. This is because I want the wick to be on the center line and the 2 halves of the diya to be of the same size. So if I were to follow these guidelines, then my diya would end up being too big, which is why I'm gonna draw 2 more guidelines, keeping in mind the size of the diya that I want. So I think that's something you'd like to consider too. So now I've cut them out and this is what they look like. And because I made 3 galaxies, I decided to make 3 diyas as well. So now that our cutouts are ready, our next step will be to color them. You can either color them before cutting them out or afterwards, whichever way you're more comfortable. So after coloring the diyas, I outline the diyas with the black pen and the flame with the white pen. You can use the black pen for the flame too. And after that, I added a little bit of design to these diyas just to make them look a little bit more fancy. Now we'll go back to our base card and identify its center. Taking this center, we will draw a smallest circle of the same size as the galaxy, and then we'll go ahead and draw 2 or 3 concentric circles depending upon how many fit onto the card based on its size. I have drawn these circles on 3 base cards because we have 3 galaxies. Now I'm going to take the galaxy and stick it in the innermost circle that I've drawn on all 3 cards. Now that I've pasted the galaxies onto the cardstock, I'm gonna outline the concentric circles using a golden pen. And once I've done that, I'm gonna create a second outline using colors similar to the color of the galaxy. And finally, we paste the diya onto our galaxy and we are done. So one of my 3 cards is ready now and I'm quickly gonna do the same for the other 2 as well. So now we'll start with our second card, and the main component in this card is this mandala that we have here. Just like before, we'll start with a base card. Again, I've used Ivory Sheet for the base card and it is 14 by 14 centimeters in size. Apart from that, we require a mandala stick-on and the Happy Diwali wish stick-on. I have created 2 variations of both already and I'll create one while teaching you guys how to make these. Like I mentioned before, for the base card I've used an Ivory Sheet, but for the mandala I'm going to use a regular drawing sheet because I want to be able to blend colors, and because Ivory Sheet soaks up water very quickly, blending isn't as easy on it. So since my edge is 14 centimeters, I have to make sure that the diameter of my mandala is also 14 centimeters so that it fits inside the card. I don't have a design plan for the mandala, which is why I'm gonna go with the flow. But if you want a more detailed video on how to create mandalas, then you can check out my last 2 videos. I'll link them here on the screen and in the description box below. So now we'll create the Happy Diwali wish stick-on. If you do not know calligraphy, then you can use your normal handwriting. But if you'd like to create the stick-on using calligraphy, then I'll link one of my videos on folk calligraphy here on the screen and in the description box below. Basically, in folk calligraphy, you mimic the effects of calligraphy without having to actually learn it. Now that both our stick-ons are ready, we'll bring back our base cards and put them all together. I'm not going to glue the whole thing onto the card. I'm just going to add glue to one edge and let the other side be open. Now I'm going ahead and adding the Happy Diwali wish onto the card. That's all for today, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video because I had fun making it. I'll see you next week with 2 more Diwali greeting cards. Till then, stay safe and enjoy the festival season.